Hello and welcome. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Ankur Mishra and Ankita Saxena, a show where we help you navigate the market with clarity and confidence. All you need to do is write your stock queries to us and WhatsApp with the details. But for now, let's pay attention to markets, how they are faring, and it has been a good day till now since morning, Ankita. Nifty is comfortably above 25,500 mark.
Yes, absolutely, Ankur. In fact, after those 2 days of sluggishness that we saw, the correction that we saw in the market, now on the back of strong global cues and of course the tariff finality coming in for Vietnam, we did have positive global cues, and on the back of that, Indian markets are also recovering. In fact, we are above this 25,540 levels for now. A sharp recovery of almost 100 odd points coming in on Nifty 50 as far as Nifty Bank is concerned. Again, a sharp recovery of almost more than 200 points coming in on Nifty Bank also from the day's lows. So 57.80 is where Nifty Bank is also perched at. Now remember, a couple of updates, business updates are coming in for the banking and the financial pack. Indian Bank came out with its update. PNB Bank also came out with its quarterly updates. M&M Financial Services, all of these stocks are in focus on the back of their business updates coming in. But let's look at how the broader markets are performing. As far as the broader markets are concerned, we did see an underperformance coming in after that long, outperformance. But today, yet again, they have taken charge. Small caps is trading up 0.3%. Mid caps is also trading up 0.2%. They are today again outperforming the benchmark indices. So a recovery coming in the broader market as well as of now. If you look at the market breadth, it is tilted clearly in the favor of advances. We do have a couple of names that are in focus today, Nykaa being one of them, on the back of a big block deal coming in. I remember the promoter has been trimming stake in Nykaa, and on the back of that, Nykaa is down and out almost 4% in trade. Besides that, we also have Hindustan Zinc on the back of its business updates. It is in focus. We also have Motilal Oswal, Aurobindo Pharma, all of these counters on the back of news flow. So a good day, Ankur, good day of markets coming in, even sectorally, barring the PSU pack, which is and Realty that's marginally in the red. All the sectoral indices are trading in the green, and Nifty Auto being the top sectoral gainer today.
So broad-based kind of a rally which is coming in from market, and only PSU banks you can see that yes they are in red territory, but most of the sectors you can find in green today. But moving on, and let's start the show with your queries. All you need to do is send us a WhatsApp message. The number is flashing on your screen, 86579745571. That is the number you have to message. Remember, you need to mention the quantity, buying price, and also mention your name and where you are sending message from. So let's get started with the first query of the day, which is coming from Swati from Thane, who wants to ask about NBCC as well as SBI cards. She's making some losses there, but Sharan, welcome to answer these queries. Today we have Sharan, and after some time Osho Krishnan will also join in to answer your queries. Sharan, let's get started with the first query of the day. What will you advise on NBCC and SBI cards to Swati?
So good morning Ankur, good morning Ankita. So the chart looks quite weak. It's broken below its 20-day EMA. So given the fact that if you see on the downside, volumes are also quite high. So you can expect the stock to retrace to levels of around 113 odd levels. And I see a strong support around 113. If it comes around that level and reverses, then you can again see a stock reclaim its previous swing high of around 130 odd levels. And for SBI cards, again a very weak price action. The stock has made a double top pattern around 1020 odd levels, and from that level it is continuously falling down and has given a break around of 930 odd levels. But it has strong support of 100-day EMA of 890 levels. If it's holds around 890 and tries to reverse, I think everything will be fine, because fundamentally the stock is quite good and it's in the right sector. So nothing to worry. If you're holding, I would suggest hold with a stop loss of 890 on a daily closing basis.
Not a very strong chart structure for SBI card coming in. I remember even Goldman Sachs had given a downgrade on SBI card 2 days back. But moving on to the next counter, Sharan, I want to bring to your notice this counter. This is Vijay who's writing in from Mumbai. ABS Marine, this particular counter, it has recently won an order also from Deen Dayal Port Authority, and it is for fire support services. It has won an order. This company has been locked in the upper circuit. Tell us, what is your technical view of this stock?
So Ankita, for this you'll have to give me 2 minutes. I've done a fundamental analysis also. I was reading for the last 6 months, there's won quite a bit of orders. So basically the company has been winning around 400-500 crores in the last 1 year alone. And if you see their turnover is 180 odd crores. So that at least like 3x your turnover. They have already having contracts with Chennai Port, Kamaraja Port, Bangalore Port, Visakhapatnam Port. So management has been continuously upgrading their revenue guidance over the last 2 years. And if you see, I expect that if I did a small calculation of their EBITDA, so over the next 2 years, I think they can hit a 80 crore EBITDA in the coming 2 years. And if you see the port sector, it has already around 40,000 crore over port development projects coming in the next 2 to 3 years. So industry wise, it is a strong outlook. Again, EBITDA margins, especially in their new charter segment, can be around 60 to 65%. So it can take the overall EBITDA of the company higher. So given nice fundamentals, nice growth in their revenues, again, good order book, good industry outlook, I think one can look to buy, my recommendation would be to buy for a long-term outlook in the stock.
All right, next query coming in, not for a stock but actually sector. Viewer wants to know about textile sector and how there will be impact of the tariff news, which is going to be 9th July deadline is the time period when it is expected that all the trade deals, all the nations are actually trying to find a trade deal, and even we understand that India's trade deal is likely to be announced in next 48 hours. Keeping that in mind, Sharon, are there any stocks from this sector?
So I think one positive news was a UK FTA agreement, and I think with the US deal around the corner, I think it will again be positive in terms for textile play. So in terms of export, I like Gokuldas export. It's showing good price action, but has recently corrected a little bit. And even Kitex garment, Kitex garment has shown excellent price action. So if you can, I think overall the whole sector will see a re-rating in the coming 6 to 12 months. So you can actually create a buy on dip strategy. Even Wellspun Living is doing good. So these 2-3 stocks are doing good. You can take a look, have a buy on dip strategy. I think there will be a re-rating in the whole textile space going ahead.
All right, a re-rating coming there for textile sector. But let's move on to the next question in that case. Mahalakshmi is writing in from Hyderabad. He says that he's holding 700 shares of ITC since January 25 at a buying price of 421 and is sitting on a loss. Now she wants to know if she should be booking the loss and shifting to Nestle in view of the bonus issue for the long term. Sharon, do you really think she should book out her losses for ITC and shift to Nestle?
So looking at the price action, Ankita, I think it's a very negative price action. It's trading below all its moving average. But if she wants to switch, I would suggest Britannia is a better pick than Nestle. Britannia is showing excellent price action, and I think it will continue in the coming months. So they can easily recover their losses in ITC with with a shift to Britannia. So I would suggest a switch strategy, sell out ITC and switch to Britannia.
All right, sell Britannia, sell ITC and shift to Britannia is the advice which is coming in from Sharon. Moving on, next query which is coming in from Kerala actually, and Parivartan is writing about 1000 Bajaj Finance shares. He has bought at the rate of 931, that is the buying price, and this is after split and the bonus. He wants to know what is the target for the next one month time period. Sharon, what is your charts suggesting regarding this stock?
So Ankur, we have spoken quite in length about Bajaj Finance. I said for technicals, you have to look at fundamentals also. So fundamentally, it is very expensive. It trades at 6 times price to book value compared to your other players which trade around 3 to 4 times. So looking at the fundamentals, I don't see any further upside in the stock. Definitely you can see a reversal to 950 levels. I think that will be a good opportunity to exit the stock, and you can enter, I think, a new entrant, HDB Finance, which trades at around 3.3 times price to book value in a similar line of business. So I would suggest switch from Bajaj Finance to a HDB Finance or any other finance that trades at a slightly reasonable valuation. Bajaj Finance valuations are very high currently, and I don't see a big upside movement in the coming months and years.
All right, with that, it's time for a quick breather. Don't go anywhere. Keep sending in your questions. The number is flashing on top of your screen. So send in your stock question, your buying price, and your holding period, and we'll get them answered by our expert on the other side. So stay tuned. Welcome back. You're tuned into Buy Now Sell Now with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Uncle Mishra. And you can send in your questions on the number that's flashing on top of your screen, and we'll get them answered by our experts. And on the technicals, it's a technical day today. Both our experts are on the technicals. Now we're joined by Osho Krishnan, Senior Analyst, Technical and Derivative Research, Angel One, and of course, Sharon is joining us from Segment 1. Let's get going with all the stocks then. Osho, you've joined us. Please take this question. This is by Balaji, who's writing in. He's a senior citizen from Tamil Nadu. He wants to know if Karnataka Bank is around 195 levels. Should he wait for further price down? I believe there's no question. I believe he wants to know if he can buy more or start averaging in from these levels.
Very good morning to all of you. Well, for Karnataka Bank, this counter have seen some kind of resilience around the zone of some kind of resistance around the zone of 200, 210 kind of levels, because in the month of January, we have seen a breakdown from the same levels. And now after a recovery phase, the counter have again facing resistance around the same level. So it will be advisable to wait for the resistance level to get breached. Once it breaches the zone of 210, then we can see some kind of continued momentum or buying traction in the counter coming back, or else one can look for buying opportunities on dips of nearly 175 to 180 from short to medium term time frame.
All right, moving on. Next query which is coming in for HDFC Bank. Suvina is asking what should she do in this stock. Sharon, what will you suggest? The results should be out in next 2 weeks. What will you suggest on this stock, because the business updates seems to be quite overwhelming till now?
So with this bank, a lot of negative news always comes out, but it tends to make a new high every time. So I would suggest it's one of the best banks out there, I think in India, even slightly in Asia, would you say, I think one of the best banks out there. So keep holding, nothing to worry about. Fundamentally also very strong. I think it will outperform all its peers also going ahead. So please keep holding. I don't think you should do trading in this stock. It's a very good fundamental stock, and keep it for long term. For the next 3 to 5 years, it will double from here also.
All right, advice coming in for long term bet, which is HDFC, and perhaps it will give you the returns that you desire. But coming to you, Osho, now, this is by Shri, who's writing in from Bangalore. Shri holds 100 shares of Cochin Shipyard at a buying price of 2,600. He wants to know if he should add more at current levels to average his cost. What is the short-term target for this stock for Cochin Shipyard, Osho?
Overall, this counter have seen a very strong recovery in the recent period from the zone of nearly 1600, which was the breakout levels. From there onwards, the counter have almost tested 2600 on the higher end. But overall, after the vertical rally, some kind of profit booking or time-wise correction is inevitable in this counter. So I expect that in the short-term period, the counter has a potential to test the zone of 1900. And once it does so, one can start looking for buying opportunity in the counter. Overall, the technical setup is very robust, very positive, and one should stay intact with their investment from medium to long-term perspective. Immediately, 1900 is a support zone. On the higher end, again, 24 to 2600 will be the first resistance that can be seen in the counter.
All right, moving on. Next query is on Indian hotels. The purchase price of the viewer is 750 rupees, and he wants to hold for next 3 months. Sharon, what will be your advice on this counter?
So looking at the counter, it's gone in a sideways to time-wise consolidation. I think it'll consolidate between 700 to 780, 800 odd levels, 100 rupee point consolidation. And a move around 800 only will change its trend going forward. But fundamentally, company is very strong. It's on a good expansion part. I think if you have entered the company, hold it. But I would suggest to keep a stop loss of around 690 on a daily closing basis. If it closes below 690, please exit the counter, and we can review it in the next 3 to 6 months.
All right, so that's the strategy you should be adopting as far as Indian hotels is concerned. But moving on to the next counter, Neha writing in from Bangalore. She says that she's making 35% profit in AU small finance banks. She wants to, Osho, to suggest a strategy and targets for the next 1 to 3 months, and is more expected, or is it better to start booking profits on AU?
See, firstly, many congratulations for having a decent profit in this counter. Overall, yes, the counter have seen a very strong traction, very strong buying movement from the zone of nearly 700, which was the sloping trend line from the weekly time frame chart, and is now hovering around the lifetime high level. So I'm expecting that as we have seen a very vertical nature in the rally from the zone of 700 towards 840 kind of a zone, so there can be some kind of profit booking that can be seen, but nothing to worry about because the counter has seen a very strong breakout. So there is a higher possibility that from here onwards, we can see higher numbers of 900, 950 in the coming period. But yes, no doubt in the short term perspective, the counter can retest the zone of 780 to 800 kind of a zone. So it will be advisable to hold the counter from medium term perspective. Short term blips should be used to accumulate more quantity in this counter for targets of nearly 950.
All right, moving on. Next query is actually from Ignatius, and he's writing from Kolkata, and he's our regular viewer. He keeps writing to us. So thank you, Ignatius, for doing that consistently. He wants to once again know about ITC. We have already addressed this query through Sharon earlier. Osho, I want to come to you. For next 2 to 3 years, what is your technical check saying? Where can this counter move?
Overall, this counter have seen a kind of a strong consolidation around the zone of 400. So there is no such traction in the counter for the timing. But looking at the broader term time frame, then yes, the counter has been into a broader trading range of nearly 380 to 480 kind of a zone. So from a medium term point of view, I expect that the momentum should continue on the higher end, but only once it breaches the zone of nearly 430. So from there onwards, we can see 480 as the next potential target for the counter. For now, I'm expecting a range bound movement. 380 to 480 is the immediate range from medium to long term perspective. Any breakthrough above 480 can again provide a very strong momentum in the counter. But overall, I am currently expecting a target of nearly 430 followed by 480.
All right, so that's the view coming by Osho on ITC. But moving on then, it is the beginning of July, and the beginning of every month marks key financial activities, whether it's salary credits, bill payments and planning expenses. But just as we plan for our expenses, it's equally important to plan for our investments. To encourage this habit, SBI Mutual Fund, in collaboration with Times Network, is launching a nationwide investor awareness initiative, Bharat Nivesh, Behtar Kal. The objective of this initiative is to promote the habit of consistent investing amongst Indians, helping them secure their financial future. And as a part of the campaign, we are observing 4th of every month as a monthly reminder to ensure that you start your mutual fund SIP or ensure your existing SIP continues. So go on and set your reminder to invest consistently and stay committed to your goals for the financial well-being of you and your loved ones. And well, with that, it's time for a quick breather. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll keep answering your questions. Keep sending us your queries, and we'll get them answered by our experts on the other side. Welcome back. You're tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now, where we are getting all your stock-related questions answered. Keep sending them in on the number that's flashing on top of the screen, and we'll get them answered by our experts. So let's resume with all the stock questions then. Let's move on to the first question now. Then this is Shankar, who's writing in from Bengaluru. He says, can I buy HAL at 4,900 rupees for 1 month holding? Sharon, let me come to you. For HAL, this entire defense basket has run up quite a bit, and the news flow on the geopolitical tensions keep coming in, and it keeps buoying the sentiment as far as the defense pack is concerned. But on the charts also, and as far as valuations are concerned, is there some sort of a comfort there because of the way these stocks have run up?
So Ankita, I think it's one of the cheapest defense stocks out there. I think trading around 30 to 35 times PE 1 year forward. So in terms of valuation, it's quite reasonable. But since geopolitical tensions have eased out quite a bit, I don't see a big rally coming in the defense names, and especially HAL. So the stock has been consolidating from 14th May onwards, and I don't see any big upside. Maximum upside you can see will be till 5150 odd levels, and I think it will consolidate for a next 2 to 3 months before it can show any kind of breakout or breakdown. So I wouldn't suggest you to make any new entries in this stock. There are better sectors out there you can look at, especially the metals, banks, now even consumer durables.
All right, that's the advice which is coming in for HAL. But moving on, next query is from Mumbai, and we have been asked by the viewer that KPIT Tech, his buying price is around 1,255, wants to know what is the right time to exit. Osho, will you help him?
See, overall, KPIT Tech is currently hovering around the same level. So I expect that in the coming period, there is a possibility, because overall the counter have not seen very strong traction from in the recent period. But there is a possibility that the counter can hover around the zone or consolidate around the zone of 1200, where it has seen a decent support around the time duration of February to March. So I expect that on the downside is limited approximately 1200, while on the higher end, not very much optimistic with the targets, but I expect that 1340 to 1350 can be seen as the first hurdle for the counter, and any breakthrough above 1350 on a decisive manner can only provide some robust momentum in the coming future, because as of now it is hovering below all its short term and even the long term moving averages. So I expect that in the coming period, only if it breaches the zone of 1350, then only we can see some buying traction coming back in the counter.
All right, so that's the word on KPIT Tech on the charts. But let's move on to the next question then. Smitha, who's writing in from Bangalore, she says she's invested in United Breweries at a buying price of 2,031 rupees. She wants to know if she should continue to hold book profits at current price. She can't be booking profit at the current price given that she's actually sitting at a loss. Sharon, probably her question is whether she should hold it on for a longer period of time to perhaps, if there is an up move, on the charts for United Breweries, or should she cash out of this counter?
So Ankita, almost 1 year of sideways consolidation. Stock is going nowhere. Now currently it's trading below all its moving averages, but still it's an excellent company fundamentally. I would suggest you hold on to your stock, but keep a strict stop loss of 1830. If at any point of time in the near future, if it closes below 1830, exit the stock, and then we'll review it at that time. But nothing to say 1 year of sideways consolidation can break out on the above and give a breakdown also. So we'll have to review it as and when it comes, but currently nothing to say. I think continue with a sideways consolidation.
All right, that's the advice which is there for United Breweries. Next question is from Rajiv, who's asking from Kolkata regarding Exide. He wants to hold for 3 years. Sharon, I want to come to you for this query. Exide, how do you see this counter? Can this be holded for 2 to 3 years time period?
Definitely, Ankur, a very good fundamentally company in the battery space. But given the increase in electric vehicle battery and also electric vehicles, I think it has a very great future. But the stock has been consolidating around 350 to 400 odd levels. I think it's a good time to accumulate for the long term. Once it breaks about 400 odd levels, you can see the upside rally continuing. And even I think in a longer period for 3 years, I think the stock can retest its all-time highs of around 600 odd levels. Fundamentally very strong, technically on a sideways to upside pattern. I think definitely make a SIP bet in this counter. I really like it.
All right. Like call coming in and Exide Industries, a good bet fundamentally and on the charts as well, looks good. But let's move on to the next question. This one's for Osho specifically. This is Krish who's writing in, wants to know, he holds HCL Tech for 325 shares at a buying price of 1,315 rupees. He's been holding it since September 2021. He wants to know if he should continue holding this, and at current levels, should he be adding more?
HCL Tech is on a verge of giving a consolidation breakout. In the recent period, we have seen a decent traction from the zone of nearly 1400 towards 1700 odd levels. And at 1700, the counter has been hovering or has been consolidating from past 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm expecting that in the coming future, there is a high potential for the counter to give a breakout above the zone of 1750. So it will be advisable to hold with the investment. In the immediate term, the immediate target comes around the zone of 1870 to 1880. Post that, we need to review that whether the momentum should continue in the counter or not. But from a medium to long term perspective, the chart structure is very positive, and one should stay intact with their investment in this counter.
All right, moving on. Next query coming in for MAS Financial. Sharan, I will come to you for the advice because Vivek from Mumbai is asking that his buying price in this stock is 289. What should he do? He can hold for 3 years.
So very strong price pattern, higher low pattern in the stock. Quite a bit of accumulation in the last 3 months on lower levels around 250, 300. Your buying price is decent. I would suggest to keep a stop loss around your buying price only for long term also. But I think it can give a good breakout around 315 odd levels and retest its recent swing high of around 350 to 380 levels. So I would suggest keep holding, and after 3 to 6 months we can again review this counter.
All right, so that's MAS Financial on the charts. But moving on to the next counter, that is Bank of Maharashtra. Osho, this is Shripad who's writing in from Chennai. He says that he holds 67 shares of Bank of Maharashtra at a buying price of 1400 rupees. Wants to know if long-term view of whether he should be holding on to Bank of Maharashtra in the long term.
I could not get the buying price, but it is currently hovering around the zone of 57, 58. But looking at the overall technical setup for Bank of Maharashtra, this counter has regained very strong momentum in the recent period and has surged above the 200 simple moving average after a very strong period of consolidation. So I expect that the momentum should continue in the counter. On the higher end, the next potential target that one can expect in the counter is nearly 62 to 64 kind of a zone from a very short term point of view. But once it breaches the zone of 64, then we can see the run towards the zone of 70 to 72 in the medium term time frame. So overall, the technical structure is very positive, and one should stay invested in the counter.
All right, that's the advice which is there for Bank of Maharashtra. Moving on, next query from Professor Thomas V. George. He keeps writing to us again. Thank you for writing. He is writing from Cochin and asking about Devyani International. He holds 1000 shares at a buying price of 150 per share. Sharan, what will you advise on this stock?
So stock has been consolidating in a very similar range of 150 to 190 odd levels, and it has done nothing in the long term. I think there are quite better counters out there that you can invest and actually make some money out of it. I would suggest take an exit in this sector and shift to good sectors like PSU banks, even banking good names are there. So I would suggest an exit, and if you don't want to exit, if you're finding it very difficult to book a loss, I would suggest to keep a strict stop loss of 160. If it closes below 160 on a daily closing basis, I think you should take your stop loss and look at different sectors.
All right, so that's the view on Devyani International on the charts. But moving on to the last question for the day, this is Shaurya who's writing in from Gurgaon. He has 60 shares of ICICI Bank at a buying price of 1,431 rupees. He wants to know if it's a good hold for the next 6 months. What would be your view for ICICI Bank for the next 6 months, Osho?
See, overall, the technical setup is very positive. The counter has seen a multi-week breakout around the zone of 1350, 1370 kind of a zone, and it's hovering comfortably above the level. So I'm expecting that, yes, no doubt in the recent period, the counter has been into a strong consolidation, but overall, the trend is very positive, and I expect that one should stay invested in such strong fundamental companies from medium to long term perspective. Overall, technical also and fundamental also both are very positive for the counter, and I expect the high run or up run to continue in the coming future. So one should stay invested from medium to long term point of view.